Good afternoon, beautiful humans, and welcome to the video. I'm back at my church permission this afternoon. It's still pretty quiet. Somebody's in the parking lot learning how to drive a big truck, and I'm going to be here and take a look at some of the sidewalk strips again. And we'll see what I can find. For once, my first plug didn't contain a rusty nail. This rang in at a solid 46, repeatable in both directions, and I haven't the faintest idea what it is. Huh. It's a whatever that is. On to the next. And about 18 inches away, looks like it's a rivet off a pair of jeans. That rang up 72 in one direction and 46 in the other, and then started bouncing crazily. Huh. That can serve for a fish's eye or a bird's eye in my sculptures. Cool. My first coin of the day is a 1985 copper penny. It was right at the margin of the parking area, and down there, see, there's the pavement. It was in this gravelly area right here. And as usual, I was able to call it. Because the Canadian copper penny is the only signal I can call with any kind of authority. First coin of the day. Glad to have that. I just chased 4 rusty nails down, how far is that? 7 inches? Right at the edge of the sidewalk. And I've had multiple targets like this working on these strips. So whether these are something to do with the concrete forming, I have no idea. But I'm not going to dig any more of those signals because I have more rusty nails than I need. Here's a little surface find. It's a little badge. Really rusted. I'm not even sure what it represents. That looks like a little house with eyes in the windows. But that's as close as I can get. It was down here. You can see the ring of rust where it was sitting on the parking lot. That's nice. I found myself a clad quarter. I think it's from 2004. The caribou has some, looks like he's growing some fungus on his antlers. Oh dear. Oh dear, the poor queen. These coins are so disrespectful. Well, this is funny. I knew I was chasing a Canadian copper penny, and indeed it is. It's 1992, which makes it one of those 125th anniversary Confederation pennies. And I got down to this large hard object, and it appeared to be the signal, and I'm yanking away on it thinking, what the heck, is that a bronze axe head? And when I pulled it out, of course it was a stone. So then I'm guttling around in the hole, quoting West Country Clegg and saying, where's it to? I'll put a link to Cleggy's channel in my description. Anyway, I had thrown the penny out with the first clod, and it was right over here by this disgruntled worm. So the joke's on me, and now I have to somehow fit the bronze axe head back in this hole and make it look neat. But I have a copper penny for it. Here's another surface find on the parking lot. It's a little pink button. It's been sitting there a while because it's faded. It was originally a little mauve button. Well, this was a surprise. I dug a fish lure right at the edge of the parking lot. We're pretty far away from the lake. Somebody must have intended to go fishing after church. This was a slamming overload signal down a couple of inches. I think this must have come in with a fill. It's a Mountain Dew can, but it's a steel can. And it says 10 ounces Imperial. And look at the opening. That looks like it came from one of those old-fashioned beaver tail pull tabs. So I think this is from the 70s or the 60s, and it must have either been dredged up when they graded this place, or else it came in with the fill. I can pretty much guarantee that this is a zinc penny, or more likely a steel penny. It didn't have that good sound that the copper ones have, and it's very crusty. It was right here by the edge of the parking lot. I don't know why I dug an iron signal, except that it was a really clean, repeatable signal, and I just hadn't dug anything for a little bit. This is a split ring from a keychain. Yay, surface find. It's a quarter. Listen to this though. Isn't that horrible? However, we'll take it. I didn't find a sock this time, but I did find a mitten. I'm going to put it up on the rock, and maybe someone will claim it. Put it in the lost and found. This was a screeching signal. It's keychain. County of Simcoe. Well, it's been a while, but I got another quarter. I think this one's a 2008. A little rusty, but I can clean it up. This is my last find of the day, and it's a surface find. It's a tiny flip-flop keychain. That's cool. I can clean that up and use it on the boat. Oh, it says something. Let me take my glasses off so I can see it. Pioneer Camp, Ontario. Haha, isn't that cute? I like that. Well, that's it for now, my friends. I've had a good afternoon out here, and found a little bit of change and some kind of unidentifiable things, and yeah, I have had a good time. So I will check back with you at the wrap-up. Hello again, beautiful humans, and welcome to the wrap-up of my third hunt at the church property. My dream permission, this church with the massive grounds. I'm still working around the parking area, and I'm really not digging anything that's more than 3 inches deep, because if the pinpointer can't hear it, I know that it's down into fill dirt, and yeah, I'm just taking the surface essentially. However, I'm finding tons of stuff. Literally on the surface, I found all kinds of colorful goodies. Here I've got the crazily mauve-colored drinking straw, piece of a cable tie, a couple of broken bottle caps, piece of a plastic fork. This is this is a McDonald's Monopoly piece. Algonquin Provincial Park. I hope nobody needed that to win however much money it was being offered. Candy wrappers, a little random sticker of a star with eyeballs. That seems to be a theme among the Sunday school kids at this church, I guess, is these little stickers, things with these googly eyes. The last one I found was a palm tree. This looks like the tailpiece of a plastic airplane. It literally started to crumble away as I tried to wash it. That doesn't look modern to me. That looks more like something from the 1960s. I don't know why I say that. It's just like the color and the texture of the plastic. However, I found it on the surface, so I doubt it's that old. Random lumps of foil, can slaw, one Molson Canadian beer cap. Again, somebody's using the church parking lot for beer parties. It's not much of a party with just one beer cap. A pull tab. Random piece of aluminum. I thought this was just wadded up can slaw, and it might be. But it has this neat rib in the middle of it. That's just so cool. That's going to be a bird's beak for sure in my sculptures. The giant overload signal, which was the Mountain Dew can, the steel Mountain Dew can, which said 10 ounces Imperial and has the old pull tab hole. So that's from the 70s at the latest, I'd say. Lots of iron, nuts, bolts, screws, washers. I think this is part of a hinge. There's one screw hole. There's bound to be another one over here. It's rusted in. It's got that little decorative edge on it. This giant nut, I can use that as a base. This can be the base, and then two of these rusty nails can be the bird's legs. You see where I'm going from this? And it was a day for keychains. Here's this one, which is a screaming signal, a real screech. County of Simcoe. This was one of those ones that had the little spring jobby that there would have been another ring on this side, and you'd squeeze it and it would release. So you'd have two sets of keys on one ring. And just your basic split ring. An angel's halo, maybe. Moving over to the better finds. This was a bonus. BDO pen with a stylus tip, which isn't going to focus at all. There it is. And it still works. Yay! This awesome little flip-flop keychain, which says Pioneer Camp Ontario. This little badge, I'm no further ahead of seeing what that actually was. It still looks to me like a little house with two eyeballs. I don't know. There's not much left of it. The pink button, which was sitting like this on the parking lot, which really was a mauve button, but the sun has faded it. The heaven knows what, my first target of the day. I haven't the faintest idea what this is. It's a little bit flexible here. So it's got like this rubbery strap running through it. Is it part of a watch band? It seems a little hefty for that. If you can help me out, please post a comment. This little rivet rang up remarkably heartily, considering it's so wee. This made me laugh. The fishing lure. I guess as soon as the sermon was over, somebody was going to head to the lake. And I found a few coins. 3 quarters, 2004, 2006, 2008. And they all have touches of rust on them, some worse than others. I was able to scrape the big glob of rust off the Queen's face mostly. The Queen fared pretty well on this one, and she's got rust in her hair on this one. And I found 2 copper pennies, an 85 and a 92, which is the, I forget what you call it, the 125th anniversary of Confederation. Come on, focus. Don't be a meanie. There it is. 1867 to 1992. 125 years of Canada. And then there's the ugly steel penny, which has nothing to recommend it, except that I can use it for fish scales. Fish scales on my sculptures. So there we go. That's the goodies. And that's the baddies. And I'm looking forward to going back to that church permission again and again to see what else is hiding under the ground. Thanks for joining me here. And in the meantime, this is Auntie, waving goodbye. See you soon.